While Israeli soldiers are feasting on a free McDonald's, Palestinians in Gaza are being starved to death. Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war to accelerate the extermination of the imprisoned people of Gaza. And if the world doesn't stop this genocide now, experts say hundreds of thousands are at risk of dying. An independent committee has determined many areas in Gaza have now reached the level of catastrophe on the acute food security scale and will imminently reach the highest level, famine. But the UN's emergency relief chief says famine has already arrived in Gaza. And you cannot create a famine by accident. For 4 months, Israel has bombed bakeries, wheat mills, water desalination plants, fishing boats, grocers and farms while preventing the entry of aid and fuel. The medical system has been destroyed and deadly diseases are surging. This week, we saw footage of Israel targeting vital aid trucks and Israeli protesters blocking the entry of aid. Israeli soldiers are seen feasting on barbecues on our occupied land, while my people are being forced to eat grass and sip water from dirty puddles. In some areas of Gaza, residents say that they no longer see cats or dogs because they have been all eaten by the starving population. In December, a Human Rights Watch found that the Israeli government is using starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, a war crime under the international law. Before Israel's current onslaught, it allowed around 600 trucks of aid to enter Gaza daily. But between October 21st and February the 1st, it only allowed less than 100 trucks per day. The starvation is deliberate.
We are imposing a complete siege on Gaza. There will be no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. Everything will be closed.
Considered, purposeful, calculated, accelerated, concentrated, intentional, manufactured. Humanitarian expert Alex Duval says the scale and the speed of the accelerated starvation inflicted on the people of Gaza is unprecedented.
And clearly deliberate, intentional reduction of a population to a state of outright starvation. Of a nature that we have not seen in modern times. There is no parallel to this since World War II.
But you don't need experts to tell you that the Palestinians in Gaza are being exterminated. Palestinians are screaming this out from the darkness. We are telling you ourselves. I am telling you now. My family was killed among the 35,000 Palestinians massacred since October. The onslaught has not stopped, and your government is most likely supporting it. The highest court in the land has said it's plausible that Israel is committing genocide. But we already know this to be true because Israel has turned Gaza into a death camp. Even before this genocide, according to the World Food Programme, 2 out of the 3 Palestinians in Gaza relied on food aid. And the decision by states including the US, the UK and Germany to defund UNRWA at this very moment, which provides essential aid to the most needy in Gaza, is a criminal act. And this isn't the first time that Israel stopped Palestinians from accessing food. I grew up under a blockade in Gaza, and I remember Israel banning the entry of basic food such as coriander, crisps, jam, dried food, ginger and even chocolate. In 2006, Dov Weissglass, senior advisor to Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, said that the Israeli policy was designed to put the Palestinians on a diet, but not to make them die of hunger. I remember in 2012, when it was exposed in the media that Israel was calculating the minimum caloric intake necessary for Palestinians to survive in Gaza in order to limit the amount of foodstuffs allowed to enter. Israel's sadistic, violent control of our everyday lives is institutionalized through its decades-long military occupation and apartheid. The mass slaughter we see today is a predictable outcome of decades of impunity. Decades of impunity of the Zionist settler colonial project aiming to steal as much land as possible while eliminating the indigenous population. And politicians across the West, especially here in the UK and those in the US, who have failed to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire when they had the chance to, are actually complicit in this onslaught. Unless Israel's genocide on Gaza is stopped now, and that means a complete cessation and withdrawal of all military activity and the entry of urgent, unimpeded aid and relief into Gaza, the famine will worsen and spread. And the death and destruction we witness today will only be the beginning. Let me be wrong. Stop the genocide.